So you just trust the process, you see. In the beginning, they don't want you running so fast through learning. They slow you down. They would, it's called dumb you down. If it's not your extremely hypocritical, narcissistic parents stunting your growth, then for sure really it's like the school system can save you, but really you're not saved by that either. Isn't that funny? There's a reason that military, see, a lot of people don't know that you do not volunteer from your military. Happy and loving people cannot be dragged into wars. What happened was, okay, it was up until Vietnam. Vietnam, I think, was the last war that they that would require a draft, which is called you have to go to war or you go to jail. And I think that's how they always did it. And so what? See, it's because life was not that inhospitable in the household or even in your neighborhood or your communities. Say, like, you didn't have a lot of hypocrites or hippies, and the extreme happening there, who was what? People just cut their hair, who cut their hairs and didn't listen to such music and just tried to mind their own business and keep up the black and white and blah blah blah. So that was the war that they would start domestically, um, as well as Vietnam going on, which is just a blinding experimental ground of a lot of the technological advancements that we have taking place on a global scale, using it against the population. You get the picture, though. See how now the domestic scene is turned into an inhospitable war-like scene. Pot smokers versus the coffee drinkers or whatever. And that creates an inhospitable condition between the parent and the kid who has the long hair and wants to wear the rainbow tie-dyes and play the guitar, and the father is saying, no, you better, get into the system and make money and be more left brain and right brain, right? So then what happens is, what basically there's an inhospitable domestic situation which leads people to enroll themselves into institutions, and one of those institutions would be military. Now, see, and it comes from being absolutely miserable in your home condition. You think there's something better in the conditions found at military, which maybe it is. Maybe you come from a place where you don't have the accommodations that they require, and I mean that they provide, which is the three meals a day, 3 hots and a cot. Some inhospitable conditions may include that kind of impoverished situation, right? Why would that happen? Why would that end up? Well, maybe the economy is controlling that into play because of social engineering. But see, the point being is that you do not have to. See, you have volunteers for wars now. You have people that are ready, like chomping at the bit at the thought of carrying a gun and killing somebody. Now, those people, what do you think about those people? What do you think about, not really necessarily those people. See, Christ in heaven would tell you, God forgives them. By the way, she never said she forgives them. She says, Father, would you please forgive these people? I have something else to do. And that is to keep eye on this shit and do not let trash through. It's like a merry-go-round here, and what happens? See, that's where we hear a lot of our reincarnation stories is from war heroes meeting up with their war hero he's 6 years old, or something like that. Yes, they go back to the kill site or something, or the murder site, and they have a scar, they have a birthmark where the scar was, where they received the wound the last time. So, good, big deal, you're coming back on a fucking meat grinding merry-go-round where the weapons are just changing. Like right now, if you're on the internet and you're shopping with your, somehow you're making a bunch of money with Audible or whatever they keep advertising there. It's like, our group made $45 million. Well, they admit right there, by undermining the little man who works with his hands and probably talks and doesn't use electricity or something like that. It's like, let's just chop them down. Like, war continuing, cool. Yeah, and you don't even know that that's happening. See, that's the strangest thing. It's like, okay, so what did you do? Did you work for the hospital, or did you work for the farm industry that's causing the illnesses, or did you just go straight to the military bunk beds and pray that they'll call you to literally? Oh, I'm sorry. This is supposed to be a Venus and Neptune time, and maybe it's time for the women to stand up and tell a little spiritual story before. Now I'm going to warn you, it's after New Year on the 2nd when Venus squares Saturn. Just get away from each other. Notice how unhappy humanity is. They're not going to get happy necessarily from all. They're going to realize all the things that they reached for, perhaps, which wasn't their real spiritual life, by the way. Didn't make them happy. In fact, they're miserable now, and they're going to blame everybody else but themselves and continuing on the merry-go-round here of narcissism. Hey, now that I mentioned narcissism, I'm going to type the word narcissist on the title and get 65 more subscribes in 5 hours and 3 more likes. But, babes, what we will be doing for you, in case you did make it here interested in the most fascinating, it has to be the most fascinating subject matter. In case you're interested in human relationships, then you have found the subject matter of narcissism, which, let's talk about human relationships, but then the situationship with narcissists over there. Are they human? No. That's why we call them narcissists. What is narcissist? Him it, everybody, if you're in my classroom. It is the mind left unseen by itself. That's all. Basically, narcissist. If we are talking about it in clinical terms, we're going to have to get a little bit more real than playing hide and seek here. It's the mind. Everybody has narcissism because everybody has a mind. Now, see, this is true in psychology. They'll tell you, no, this is a fact. But what the problem is, what we have a problem with, who makes it in lights and gets how many hours on my channel and everybody else's channel, is the southerly narcissist, the fully encapsulated mind, the ones who cannot get out of their minds. See, they can't get out of their minds, man.